The serious escape. You follow conclusions in your mind, and yet you're comparing the things that you've been doing and the vision that you've been expecting yourself to be following into places that are not so very known to you because you're comparing them. You're finding that there are aspects and visions of thought flow that doesn't really compute with the things that you had in mind at first. So certainly the action to take, always think, is more vivid. The expression is just more vivid. The timing is also just more vivid. You can flow as much as you want, thinking about the things that you enjoy, the way you walk and move your body, how you are seeing the things, and setting that to be an okay way to express the things that are in alignment for you to have. Naturally, you are winning onto it. You are finding that these distinctions are just much more visual, much more in flow. The timing is to have it, to get this sensation in mind that things are coming to the point that they would accept themselves for you. It's not as much of a doing action, it just happens because you're more aligned to it and you've been doing the work thinking that you're not getting there. But the work has just put you into place, a place where you can absorb. And that's easy to take for granted. It's easy to take for granted the easiness, right? The easiness of how some things can become, how some things can be for you, if you just allow yourself to be where you're supposed to be. So sometimes I imagine that there are some conclusions of mind, of thought, expressions that are just much more to do with how we are uncovering things together, like how we are forming things together when we're with our friends, families, and the strangers that we meet at places of social activity like clubs, bars, stores, and so on and so forth, right? And you find these instances of management with your energies is just a part of becoming. Thinking to yourself that there is a decision to have here, a likeliness and a field of thought that just flows normally because there's a way to ascertain these things because they are just computed that way. They're incessant to be known. They really are. And as much as you find that continually when you're growing, as you're expressing yourself, as you're moving yourself to talk about these happenstances, the flow that you like, and the vision that that brings for you, as much as you're doing that and coming together to understand that this undertaking, this movement of yourself, is another way to become. To try to see how the depth of your own mind, your own setting, just pleases you. And that's not a foregone conclusion, as much as one might think. It's a product of your mentality ascertaining that this is how it is. When there's been so many questions, when there's been so much doubt, now you're finding that here are you. Right? The distinction of this to otherness, the flowing of things being a bit strange, a bit unaware, the finding of that can be concluded with a lot of actions, a lot of thought actions, but not as much presence. Being here and actually doing the actions can actually produce it, something that you touch in one or another kind of way, something that you or another can touch in one or another kind of way. Because that's how we see things, how we are introducing these things to our life, as much as we do introduce them to our life. Then we're finding that these ideas that are distinctive and they come together and they remove us from unsanctified movements that are not to be done for us, but yet are here. Where are we when that happens? Because the intellect is always moving towards something. You have these ruminating thoughts just flowing, growing inside of you and trying to just blossom into this action. But yet, you forget that what you left behind you in your path forward are a lot of things that you can pick up, which are already perfect in their own sense. Even if you have your thoughts trying to tell you to move forward towards something, your presence, the path that you walked, with the things that you left behind you, those things can be brought upon as complete forms. Complete forms that can be used in, multiple ways of visualization for other people and yourself. Because you can cascade yourself into the background as much as you're cascading yourself into the foreground. And the background is also a place to bring about things to happen, things to show, to deliver, and, entertain. Moving there, realizing that that's a choice, that's an action, that's something to take hold of, because it's freeing. It has this level-headedness to it that can be seen from above ground, where you're not that deep into rumination for a while. Instead, you're presenting what you have been ruminating on, more or less. And I do find, yet, as much as I find things, as much as I flow into things and realize that these things that I'm doing today are protected by my feelings of them. Since even when I'm tired and I'm telling myself that I don't want to do so much today, I want to be present in a state where there's not much to give. There's just an enjoyment of being here in this sense right now and not touching upon anything else. Then clarity comes. Finding that clarity because of that meaning that I've had and imbued within myself to follow up upon things that are much more giving to me. And that is the setting. The visualizing aspect of the novelty that's just much more moving than the otherness that we didn't know for. To have that is to give. To see that is to sense. To find that bountiful and much more reactive than these things can be telling. And without any way, likelihood, to see these things and giving it a place to be free, then what are we seeing? Not much, I would say, other than confusion, other than otherness. The beauty in this aspect, in these thoughts, to take hold of the choices that are yours, to be unbounded by the freedom that you didn't know, is telling you that it's here, has been telling you that it's here, is to communicate that to yourself and to your space. As your environment grows, and I do find that many of us like the solitude, right? We want to work in solitude. We don't want to express our celebration to another. We are quiet within that. Though there is something about celebrating with other people together, to share your celebrations in any way, shape, or form, but with other people. It expands you away from your soul room where you hold yourself into the world. First your local climate, and then national, and then global. It moves within expansion. As much as we like to be solitary with the things that we do, because we are, because of a lack of a better word, attacked by other people's celebration. And of course we celebrate together with them. We are happy for them and we enjoy it. But they're also asking to be happy for you. To find what are you celebrating about? What made you so happy today? What are you working on so deeply that is not being expressed, that is not being viewed for them? Because it can be seen that you are ruminating on something important and you've been doing it for years, but telling yourself that not yet, it's not time, because you're afraid, obviously, that you will meet opposition, yet that opposition will temper you and make you stronger.